Folks, it's 5:30 and it's time for our forum to begin. Forum's an opportunity for you to ask questions of the town council, and we can have a little give and take during that period of time. And if we don't have an answer, we'll get it to you. If during the regular meeting we don't answer questions, it's an opportunity in the regular meeting for you to observe the council in action and the actions we take. So before we start, if we'll just bow our heads where we're sitting for a moment of silence. Amen. Commissioners, you have the agenda for the forum in front of you. Do I have a motion to adopt it as presented?
So moved.
I have two motions. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. I have motion by Widmer and
What's her name?
Fouché, Widmer and Fouché, and a second by Alexander. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. The floor is now open for public forum. Anyone who wishes to step to the microphone. Give us your name and where you live, and we'll proceed from there.
Good evening. Ashley Manson. I'm owner and house manager of 132 Virginia Road and resident at 226 Alabama Terrace. Tonight, I come before you on behalf of the Montreat Tree Board to share two exciting projects the board is working on. The first is a collaboration with the American Chestnut Foundation based in Asheville. You may not know this, but Montreat is historically known as having the highest concentration of chestnut trees in the nation. It is a prime growing environment despite the blight which killed the vast majority of them. The foundation has a progeny planting program to test the varietals of trees they have genetically bred to withstand the blight. The joint team, the foundation and the tree board, is presently evaluating a site in Montreat to participate in and support this important research. The second project is a collaboration with the National Wildlife Federation. The local chapter is called the Swannanoa Valley Wild. This organization has three objectives: education, habitat restoration, and advocacy for wildlife and their respective habitats. Through our engagement with them, they have very generously earmarked grant funds of $10,000 for new tree plantings in Montreat. The tree board in partnership with SVW, biologist, and MRA, will evaluate and select the sites where there will be the highest and best use of these new trees. I will be the point contact for this project, so if the collective Montreat stakeholders have suggestions or recommendations on where plantings are needed, they may contact me directly. We anticipate both of these programs to be multi-year projects, and volunteers will be needed in the future for site preparation, plantings, and ongoing maintenance. If you have a green thumb, we need you. Last but not least, both organizations have been invited to participate in the Land Care Festival and Arbor Day celebration, April 11th, 2026. Please mark your calendars. Land Care Festival and Arbor Day celebration, April 11th, 2026.
Any questions, council?
Go ahead.
Ashley, are you planting trees just on public right-of-ways?
Mike.
Oh, sorry. Are you planting trees just on public right-of-ways? I think,
That is to be determined.
okay.
That's why we're trying to incorporate the entire collective of Montreat to decide where they need to be.
And is the purpose just to make more trees or for beautification, or do they have some,
All the above, but also to help Montreat recover from the tree loss.
gotcha. Thank you.
Commissioner Whitmer?
Ashley, you had said that Montreat has the highest concentration of chestnut trees.
Past tense.
Did have, right.
Yes, sir. Historically.
Right. In what area?
In Montreat,
I know, but compared to what?
the rest of the country, it was the highest concentration versus the rest of the country.
Thank you.
And my information has already been given to the town for the notes. Any other questions?
How are the chestnut trees that we've already planted doing?
Those are on college property, and I have not received a report from them.
Actually, beyond that, there's one on college property, or on MRA property. There's one on the hill over here, and there was one in the park over here that I don't think made it.
And part of those will be determining which varietals were planted and determining which ones are doing the best. And the Progeny Project, they come in, clear the land, they plant 5 to 6 trees in the first year. They go through year 2 to evaluate which ones have survived the longest. And then they come in and put in somewhere between 100 to 200 more trees in that same area. And they expect more than a 50% die-off of the population that they put in. So the genetic research is really important, and the culling of figuring out what is the best breed for our land is essential.
Thank you.
Now, some of them that are being identified by homeowners, you said they're different breeds of them?
There's different varietals of
Variety.
chestnuts that are in production these days because they're doing the genetic testing to figure out which ones survive the best.
Okay.
And sometimes different ones survive differently in different environments.
And the Land Care Festival and Arbor Day celebration is April.
11th.
Thank you.
And that is a land care event. It is the former native plant sale. It has been remarketed. There will be native plants for sale. There will be a wide variety of educational events, and I believe a treasure tree walk.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And thank the other members of the tree board for us, too. Who else? Who's next? Anyone? You gonna make us adjourn and talk amongst ourselves until?
Tom, what's the matter?
Can we ask questions
Sure.
Sure.
about the trees? Where are the,
Tom, why don't you step to the mic?
And you might want to bring Ashley with you.
she go up to the, Tom Frist, 98 Frist Road. I just wanted to find out more about it. Where are the seedlings, where do they come from? Are they the same trees that we used to have here? Are there another variety, like from Japan or some other country? Or give us a little more information about it. Thank you.
I wish I had more of the science at this point. They do have a scientist on board. That person will be helping us evaluate, what we have versus what we need. There is actually some information at the front desk over here from the Chestnut Foundation, and there's a brochure, a flyer on the benefits of chestnut trees and as a keystone species, and we will all be learning more about chestnuts. I wish I don't have that information further.
And, while Elizabeth is coming up, did they give you a number of how many chestnut trees would be planted?
If we're approved for the progeny site, they said between 5 and 6 on the first round for the first 2 years. Then depending on how those survive, then it could be anywhere from 100 to 200 in the same site.
So, Elizabeth Hamilton, Maryland Place. So the Chestnut Foundation is trying to reintroduce as close to native species chestnuts as they can. And so they've been crossbreeding, they're doing genetic work. And so what used to be, I don't know, however many years ago, they used to have like trees that were 80% American and 20% Chinese. They've reduced that down now to, I'll say over 90% American or 95. But they're trying to get chestnuts, like North Carolina chestnuts are slightly different than New Hampshire native chestnuts. And so they're trying to get this closer and closer to the native North Carolina chestnuts that are still resistant to the blight. Does that kind of get at what you were asking?
Yeah, I just saw I'll talk loudly. I just saw, recently, a few months ago, a YouTube thing on chestnuts and how important they were to this area of the country. I mean, for the economy, it's just so important. And what a disaster it was that we lost them. What a disaster it was we lost them, and it's just because of the blight that came from the north down the south. But I'm really interested in how the difference between the trees that survive from Asia, what the blight attacks and what it doesn't, and that's what they're studying, right?
I nominate you to be on the committee. Sorry? That's a Hemlock program. And that's Elizabeth Hamilton, who is also on the tree board. So thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Any other questions from commissioners? Who's up next? Anyone? No burning questions. Savannah, you got any update with FEMA? Or was that going to be in the regular, we'll do it again, regular meeting if you have it.
No, I can give a quick FEMA update. So since our last meeting, we have received, let's see, I'm just making sure I have the right information. Since our last meeting, we've received just over $107,000 in reimbursement. That was for the repairs to Calvin Trail. So we're still making progress, as I have been saying now for a year. It is slow, but it's steady. And really, I think it's been interesting over the last 6 weeks. I would say I have felt more urgency from FEMA than I have in the past, which I think is promising. They're ready, and I think that they are getting pressure to wrap these projects up, get the funds distributed. So that's good for us. It's a lot of work, but there seems to be a sense of urgency that was missing before, which is good. Any other FEMA-related questions while we're on the subject?
Can you give them the good news of the application that you heard about? Sweet.
The application.
Walking bridges.
Oh, yes. So one of our last projects that was tied up in the first phase, which is project development, has now moved into obligation, which is really great. And that is the pedestrian bridges project. So the Texas Road Bridge and the Arbor Lane Bridge both fall under the umbrella of this project. Those are high dollar projects, so I think the funds will be a little bit slower coming, but it's really promising that those funds are obligated. That means that we're guaranteed now to get them, whether it's tomorrow or 6 months from now. Eventually, that money will be in our hands.
Thank you, Savannah. Any other questions, Savannah?
Do they give it the cost today or the cost when they get around to paying for it?
So large projects, which the bridges are, they're not considered large projects by FEMA standards, but they're large projects by Montreat standards. And we are doing those as actual cost projects. So we will get quotes. We will say this has how much it's going to cost, because right now we're dealing in estimates. So they will pay us for actual money spent.
Even if it exceeds the estimate?
That's right.
Okay. Tom? Tom, you might as well stay up there, or at least sit in the front row.
I'm doing this to satisfy Kitty. No, I really want to know more about the bridge project. Is it going to be the prefabricated one? Is it that's the model that they're paying for? Or is it something else, a
So,
new design, or what?
That is a question that's still lingering. I believe, and don't hold me to this, because this is a I have been told, not a I am sure. But I have been told that they will replace it in kind. So not prefabricated, actual lumber bridges like we had before. But I know nothing for sure on materials. FEMA, I will say this, FEMA prefers to replace things in kind. They get a lot of heartburn about what would be considered like aesthetic upgrades or anything really beyond hazard mitigation. So if I can't make the argument that critical infrastructure will be affected if Texas Road Bridge gets washed out, then chances are they're going to say, then you have to replace it in kind. It has to go back exactly like it was. That's just the FEMA game. But at least they'll pay for it.
Thank you, Savannah. Anyone else want to come up and talk or ask a question? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn till 6 o'clock when we start our regular meeting. I have a motion from Commissioner Fouché, Mayor Pro Tem Fouché, excuse me. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Alexander. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. We stand adjourned until 6 o'clock. Thank you. Folks, we'll have 6 o'clock. If you don't mind, please stand and let's face the flag and say together the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All stand in place and bow our heads before we start the meeting. Moment of silence. Amen. Commissioners, you've seen the agenda. Are we going to adopt the agenda as presented, or are we going to amend it?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to suggest two changes to the agenda. The first one is to enter into closed session in accordance with NCGS 143-318.11.6 for discussion of a personnel matter.
That would be item F. No, that'll be after the public comment at the end of the meeting, after the community, after our dates to remember, we'll adjourn.
That is correct.
Okay. And the other one?
Reluctantly, I make a motion that we continue new business item number 9, Roman numeral 9, item B, and that is the conditional zoning request and public hearing to the January 8th, 2026 council meeting.
Okay. Have a motion to add to the agenda a closed session for personnel matter. And then I have a change in removing item B, conditional zoning request, and postpone that until our January meeting. Is that correct?
Continuing.
Continuing.
We're going to continue it to
Continue
January
it.
8th, 2026.
Okay.
And Mr. Mayor, just to clarify that a little bit further, the technical action that we are taking is continuing the matter to a date certain. And I don't think the motion needs to be restated, just maybe some affirmation by Commissioner Whitmer that that's his intent.
Indeed.
Commissioners, how about the rest of the agenda? Is it to be adopted as presented? Okay. All right, you heard the changes, Commissioners. Do I have a motion from Commissioner Whitmer? Do I have a second?
A second.
I have a second from Commissioner Dasher. Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The agenda is adopted as amended. My communication is Merry Christmas, everybody. If it's not cold enough for you, it will be by the weekend. And hope everybody's got plenty of fuel and firewood and so forth to stay warm. But I hope everybody has a very, very Merry Christmas and enjoy your family. And best of luck. Thanks. Consent agenda, Savannah?
Yes, so on the consent agenda this evening, we have meeting minutes adoption, the November 13th public forum meeting minutes, and the November 13th town council meeting minutes. And that's the consent agenda.
Do you have any communication tonight?
I do just have a couple of quick things. First of all, I want to remind folks that the Montreat Police Department will have a drop-in gathering on Monday, the 15th, so this coming Monday, from 8:30 to 10 at the Huckleberry. And that is just an informal gathering. Folks can ask their police officers questions, get to know them. We want to make sure that there's good communication flowing out of the police department and into the community. And I think one of the best ways to do that is to provide these opportunities for everyone to get together. So that's happening Monday the 15th at 8:30. Town offices will be closed Thursday, December 25th, and Friday, December 26th for the Christmas holiday. And then I also wanted to let everyone know that even though it's pretty early, internally, staff has begun our budget process. We are making our priorities. We're looking ahead to next fiscal year, and it's our plan to, again, really make sure that the board and the community are involved in that process. So be looking for more to come on the early side this year with budget.
And
26, 27, but
It is indeed.
I like that.
And I hope y'all will slip out here a little early on the 24th. Been known to happen.
It has been known to happen. We'll see what happens.
Commissioners, we've received the administrative reports from the Administration Department, Planning and Zoning, Public Works and Water, Sanitation, Streets, Finance, and the Police Department. Any questions and/or comments on any of those reports?
we didn't have a permit report in the past.
So the Buncombe County is doing our permits now. So they don't send me like the months at a time. They just periodically send me a week here and a week there. So I can send you what I have, if that will work. Okay.
Thank you, Angie. Okay. Floor is open for any public comment. Mr. Hamilton? Are we going to do him during, we move that? Yeah, Mr. Hamilton, come on up, please, sir. You wanted to speak. You have the microphone, sir.
Mr. Mayor, council members, thank you for the opportunity to briefly address you. My name is Will Hamilton. I am Jim and Christina Hamilton's son. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. And I flew down here yesterday to represent our family in our opposition to Mr. Burns' conditional zoning request, and also to propose a compromise that would allow Mr. Burns to keep his house, protect the environment, and resolve the legal issues. Obviously, in light of the continuance, that's not going to happen today, but we will be filing a supplemental because the facts on the ground have changed, which I would like to very briefly describe. Yesterday, I went up to the house and I was surprised to see that Mr. Burns had paved his driveway, which means the site plan he has submitted as part of his conditional zoning request no longer matches his actual construction. And Ms. Parrish, are we able to put those pictures on the screen?
Josh?
But what Mr. Okay, cool. What Mr. Burns has done on top of paving the gravel driveway is he has built a curb that diverts polluted stormwater into an opening at the bottom of the driveway that releases the polluted stormwater directly onto our property. And this new development is not part of Mr. Burns' current site plan, and it has made the plan contradictory because the current plan says that the driveway is canted to direct stormwater away from our property, but the new curb and the opening at the bottom does the opposite. It diverts stormwater directly onto our property, and there are no stormwater measures in place here, nothing that either reduces washout or keeps polluted stormwater out of our part of the stream, and eventually that stormwater ends up in Flat Creek. So this is another trespass on top of the ones that Dad describes in his memorandum, and we will be responding in more detail about the environmental and legal issues of what Mr. Burns has done in a supplemental, but that is in brief what I wanted to describe today, and I can point out specifically what he's done. There we go. So there obviously is the paved driveway. I believe there's some pictures of the site plan back there which do not match with the new construction. And then at the very end, Ms. Parrish, I don't know if you can see that there is a curb on either side and then an opening where all of the stormwater off of the now impervious surface of the paved driveway is going to end up in our on our property and in our part of the creek, which flows down into Flat Creek about 150 feet from our houses. And with that, thank you.
Thank you. Just for edification, Mr. Hamilton traveled here, flew here from Washington, D.C., in hopes of having the hearing tonight, and since we postponed it after he had already flown here, it was rather inconvenient to not let him speak tonight. So that's the reason we were allowing him to speak, even though we have continued the hearing until the January meeting.
And
Thank
thank
you,
you
sir.
again, Mr. Mayor and council members, for allowing me the time to speak. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
No, public hearings on the 9th. I allowed him special because he came all the way down and you had it postponed. Okay. Public comment, and now we go to new business, presentation of the draft 2024-25 audit.
Yes, so I will welcome Fran from Carter PC, the town's auditing firm, and she will be walking us through our audit presentation. Thanks, Fran. And before she gets started, if you'll allow me, I want to thank Rachel, who is our finance officer, for her hard work. The audit process is very stressful. It's a lot of work. She's done a great job, and I know that everyone who works with her at Carter, they speak highly of her and her professionalism. So thank you, Rachel, for your hard work on this.
Rachel.
Do I look like I cause a lot of stress? No, just kidding. The audit process is very stressful, and
I had a full head of hair before we all started auditing.
and the staff and these ladies in particular have done a fantastic job with the process, not just this year, but in all years. And so, yeah, good evening. Thank you for having me, and thank you for having Carter continue to do the audit for the town. We certainly appreciate the opportunity. As your independent auditor, it's our responsibility to provide an objective opinion on whether the financial statements are presented fairly in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. And I am pleased to report that we have issued an unmodified opinion on the financial statements, which means that they present fairly in all material respects the town's financial position and the results of operations. The audit this year was conducted in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards and government auditing standards, which added another level of complexity and stress. We reviewed the internal controls and compliance with laws and regulations, and we did not identify any material weaknesses in internal control. However, we did note that there are two compliance findings this year. One's related to the pre-audit certificate, and then the other is related to contractor work authorizations for work done under the state cash flow loan. Management's currently reviewing these findings and perhaps working on what might need to be done as a corrective action. Again, the opinion was unmodified. The lack of pre-audit certificate. Each transaction has to be pre-audited by a person who has been duly appointed as either the finance officer or the deputy or assistant finance officer. And during our procedures, we realized that Angie, as awesome as she is, she was doing some of the pre-audit work, and she hasn't been duly appointed as a deputy finance officer. Not that she was doing anything wrong, it's just that it was out of compliance. And then under the cash flow loan funding, the town is required to require the contractors that are doing the work to use the E-Verify system as far as employee compliance is, and it was not part of the town's procedures to require that. So those were the only the findings that we had. So if no questions on that, I'll go ahead and do a brief summary of the financial highlights, if you like.
How long has the e-verification been in action? How long have we been required to do that?
It's been a while. It's been around for a while, but it was by a while, I mean a decade or more maybe. But this was a requirement that was put in by the state treasurer to get the state funding, was that the contractors have to comply and the town has to make sure the contractors are complying.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I will say, just really quickly, the pre-audit issue has been resolved. We've moved pre-audits now to Rachel, so that shouldn't be an issue going forward. And the E-Verify was something that had just fallen off my radar. I think I knew of it, somewhere in the back of my brain, but it just had fallen off the radar. But now that it's been brought back up, it shouldn't be an issue going forward.
I was familiar with the pre-audit, but the E-Verify was new to me, so.
Yeah, and that was a new requirement just, I think, for this round of funding. So I don't know if they'll continue to require it or not.
Fran, I was going to say, when you go over the results, if you have a page reference, you may not in your notes.
I have page ranges.
Wow. Okay. If you'll just shout those out so we can pop to them on the audit.
Okay, fantastic. Well, we'll then go ahead and get started with the statement of net position, which is probably page 13, 14, 15, something like there. Like I said, I have ranges. Anyway, the net position of the town at year end was $8,869,137, and that's actually a decrease of $194,000 from the prior year. The net position for governmental activities was $6.9 million, and the business type activities was $1.9 million. And both of those decreased. Governmental activities decreased $156,000, and business type decreased $38,000.
And would the explanation be for that it was an incredibly different year with Helene and the way that we had to use funds?
Yes, and almost every government has done that. A lot of the repairs and other expenditures that were incurred before the funding was in. Although I will note that there was no over budget because of these expenditures. So, yeah. Another important figure, not just the net position. Net position is the overall town sort of full accrual measure of equity, but fund balance is really the operating measure that we use internally. And for governmental funds, the fund balance was $2.4 million, and that was actually an increase of $259,000 from the prior year. $259,000, yes. The general fund balance was $2.7 million, and of that, 2.1 was unassigned, which essentially means available for appropriation. And this represents 110% of the town's annual expenditures, which is well above the minimum fund balance policy. Debt did increase $392,000. The primary driver for this would be the cash flow loan, that lending, as well as the net pension liabilities. And capital assets actually decreased by 3%, down to about $7 million.
Fran, can I ask you to go back to the general fund balance again for a second?
Sure.
You said it was 2.7 million.
Well, it's almost 2.8. I'm not good with rounding.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Rounding to
Yeah.
2.8.
Yeah, that's the total fund balance.
And 2.1 of that is unassigned.
Yes.
And how did that compare to year previous?
I think it's an increase. I don't have that side by
Okay.
side. I just
All
have
right.
the overall amount increased.
Okay, thanks.
Total revenues for the town were $3,102,000. That's an increase of almost 14%. Total expenses were $3.5 million. That's an increase of almost 50%, but then again, a lot of that was related to the issues from the Helene and the storm damage. And that math is how we get to the decrease. The tax collection rate continues to be excellent at 99.92%. Yeah. The town's legal debt margin is $23 million. That's 8% of the assessed property value of $301 million. Cash and equivalents, other than fixed assets, is the largest asset, and that's $3.2 million across all the funds. And the net pension liability I mentioned earlier for the ledgers, the local government employees retirement system, that's $570,000, and for the law enforcement officers is $93,000. Okay, that's a lot of numbers to spit out.
Any other questions, commissioners? I'm sure we'll have more probably after we have time to really look at the hard copy and so
Yeah.
forth and go through and.
Okay.
And
That's for the financial statements. I have just another couple things in
Sure.
the letter, the governance letter, that we'll go over. There was a new accounting policy, 2 new accounting policies adopted during the year. Both of them are, I guess, required by government accounting standards. One of them is related to compensated absences, and that means that now governments, the biggest change is now they record a liability for sick pay, whereas previously it had just been for vacation pay. And this actually did cause a restatement of the prior year balance. I think it was am I making up stuff? I think I'm making up numbers now. I was going to say it's either $118,000 or $43,000, but I've gotten confused. But so that's one thing that's new, and estimates that are involved in the financial statements. We think the more significant ones are depreciation, the allowance for doubtful accounts, and the pension-related costs. There was one, we'll call it an uncorrected misstatement. It was considered immaterial related to payroll. That was $1,300. There will be an attachment. I've already sent the journal entries to Rachel to go over, but we'll have a list of those available for you. We had no disagreements with management in the course of performing the audit, and that there were no significant difficulties. We'll get a management representation letter saying they told us the truth, the whole truth, and all the fun stuff. And I don't think there have been any other consultations with other accountants for second opinion shopping. Nope.
any
All
further
right.
questions?
One statement and then one question. We have been lax in involving our audit committee in this whole process. And there are a few things that the audit committee is responsible for, one of which is to review the draft audit with the independent auditor, and the second is to present a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners on acceptance of that annual audit. So in your deliberations with Savannah and Rachel, I hope you all will keep that into consideration.
Absolutely. We'll be happy to schedule meetings with you at any time, make ourselves available.
Great. And the second question, the second point is a question, and that was, what kind of a grade would you give us?
I'd definitely give you an A for this. We got it. No, it went very well. All right. Well, if y'all have any questions, feel free to reach out at any time. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fran.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Mhm.
Okay, item B has been continued until until January's meeting. Item C, bank loan approval. Savannah?
Yes, so we discussed at our November meeting Barry's desperate need for a tractor. We questioned whether or not we were going to be able to really afford it, but we have sat down, we've crunched the numbers, and we are, in your next item, you'll see a budget amendment to actually move some money. We do believe we have the cash on hand to make the payments through the end of this fiscal year and then budget for the payments in the new fiscal year budget. So we would like to get Barry that tractor and am just asking for you all to approve the financing on that.
Commissioners, we have a suggested motion there. Do I hear it?
I'll move to approve a loan in the amount of $87,356.94 with First Bank to finance the purchase of a 2025 Kubota tractor with attachments.
I have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Fouché. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Alexander. Discussion?
The only discussion I'd have, Savannah, is yesterday the Fed dropped the interest rate by a quarter point. Do you think it'd be worth, when you're talking to them, to see whether there's a trickle-down effect?
I think so, yes. Those terms are not set in stone, so I'll certainly ask them if they would be willing to reevaluate that interest rate.
Okay, any other questions or statements? Hearing none, we have a motion to buy a track hoe for $87,356.94. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. Next item on the agenda is D, Budget Amendment Number 5. Savannah?
Yes, so this is a budget amendment to include in Fund 29, which is our Helene fund, the FEMA reimbursement of $107,265.25, which was for the Calvin Trail culvert, and to move $10,000 of those funds to the general fund to purchase a Kubota excavator, and this will be 6 months worth of payments on that excavator.
I have a budget amendment. I have a motion. Do I hear a motion?
I move to approve budget amendment number 5.
I have a motion to approve. Commissioner Dasher, do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Whitmer. Questions? Comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. Item E, appointment of members to Stonebridge Advisory Committee. Savannah?
Yes, so last month you all voted to form the Stonebridge Advisory Committee, and now you have the fun job of appointing 7 members and 2 alternates. You'll remember that the committee scope is to guide us through the process of adding aesthetic faces to some of the bridges in town. We don't really know yet how big or small the projects will be, but we do know that we have funding for at least 1 bridge at this time. So it's really exciting, and we just want to get those members and get our meeting started so that we can keep going. And I'll leave the rest of the discussion with you all.
Okay. Commissioner Alexander, do you have a list of those people?
I do have the list. The committee is comprised of 7 regular members and 2 alternate members. And these are people who volunteered and have a real interest in that. A lot of them were encouraged by Nancy and Maury Gramlin to apply. So these are the members, or the people that we'd like to select. Nancy Thomas, Maury Gramling, Ellen Dean, Ken Shortridge, Beth Casper, Margaret Berry, and Hugh Alexander, and they would be the regular members. The alternate members would be Robin Melville, and John Casper. Melvin.
Did I hear that as a motion?
Yes, I move that we accept these community members to comprise the Stone Bridge Advisory Committee.
I have a motion from Commissioner Alexander. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second from Commissioner Dasher. Discussion.
Looks like a good list.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. Thanks to those people for willingness to serve. Floor is open for public comment. Seeing nobody move toward the microphone. No, there.
Jean Norris, 192 Mississippi Road. I thought it was exciting to buy my first brand-new car, but I swear this tractor purchase is about as exciting.
It is amazing, isn't it, Jean? Any other public comment? Okay, Commissioner communication. Any commissioner have any communication tonight? None? Okay.
Can I just make one comment?
Sure you can.
On behalf of the Montreat Adult Summer Club, I'd just like to thank the town, starting with Savannah, and particularly Public Works and the MPD, for working with the Summer Club to light the gate.
Thank you.
It was a great event, and also the PHC had a wonderful tea, so it's been a festive week.
Thanks.
Bring on Christmas.
Thanks to the nimble fingers and the vocalist, Grant Dasher. Did a great job, Grant.
It's hard to play banjo when it's like 35 degrees outside. It was fun.
Tell you what, his daughter, how old is she?
She'll be 8 next Tuesday.
She took a hold of that microphone. She couldn't turn that thing loose.
She doesn't need a microphone. She's pretty good without one.
Okay. You got dates to remember. The Montreat Police Department Community Drop-In Gathering this coming Monday the 15th, 2025, 8:30 to 10 in the Huckleberry Moore Center. Board of Adjustment Thursday, December the 18th, 2025, 5 p.m. if needed, Town Hall. Christmas holidays, town offices are closed Thursday, December the 25th, Thursday, December the 25th, and Friday the 26th. Okay, I'm finally going to catch up. New Year's Day, town offices are closed Thursday, January the 1st, 2026. Land Care meeting is Wednesday, January the 7th, 2026, 9 a.m., Town Hall. January Town Council meeting, Thursday, January the 9th, 2026, at 6 in Town Hall. Tree Board, Tuesday, January the 13th, 2026, 9 a.m. in Town Hall. Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, Thursday, January the 15th, 2026, 10:30 in Town Hall. Montreat Police Department Community Drop-In Gathering, Thursday, January the 15th, 2026, at 10 a.m. at the residence of Clay and Elizabeth Hamilton, 160 Maryland Place. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Town offices are closed Monday, January the 19th, 2026. Sanitation services will resume on Tuesday the 20th at 8 a.m. And the Board of Adjustment Thursday, January 22nd, 2026, 5 p.m. Town Hall if needed. The meetings at Town Hall will be available by Zoom.
Okay. The town council meeting is actually January 8th. It was a misprint.
No.
Yes.
No. Yes, ma'am, I hear. The 8th, we will meet. Okay. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
I have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Fouché that we, council, move into executive session. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Alexander and Commissioner Widmer.
We tried.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We will adjourn into executive session When we come out, we'll come back and reconvene. If you want to stay, I don't know how long we'll be. Could be forever. We stand adjourned until we reconvene.